Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gent Scents. So the other day, I was shopping for some fragrances, as I do from time to time, and I noticed a particular fragrance that jumped out at me. And that fragrance was Hugo Boss's The Scent Pure Accord, which is a fragrance that I actually haven't really thought of for a while, because I kind of think it sucks. But I noticed it was really cheap, especially compared to the other The Scent fragrances that were right there with it on that website. And it got me thinking, what's the cheapest fragrance for each fragrance line out there? And so what I did is I picked 10 different fragrance lines, really big ones, and saw which was the cheapest of the cheap to buy. Now, of course, this is assuming that you shop at discounters, because if you shop at retail, everything's just gonna be at the retail price. But forget that, no retail prices today. I shopped at FragranceNet, JOMASHOP, and Fragrance Buy, pulling the cheapest prices from 10 different fragrance lines, and that's what we're talking about today. All of these are gonna be linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And since the Scent Pure Accord is what got me kind of in the mood to do this video, let's talk about the scent first. Which, by the way, they have changed the presentation style on the Scent line. In case you didn't notice, now they have a new bottle style. I have no clue if the fragrances have changed. I would assume that they haven't, but I can't say for sure. But the old Scent bottle style, the cage bottle style, if you want to call it that, is now gone. So old bottle style, new bottle style. You can tell me which one you think looks better. I'm actually thinking the new one might look better, but I won't know for sure until I buy one. But anyway, the cheapest Hugo Boss The Scent fragrance that you can buy right now, and this is assuming a 100 ml bottle full presentation, not a tester, is actually just the scent. So yeah, Pure Accord is the one that got me interested in doing the video, but turns out this one is cheaper. But if you go the tester route, you can get a 100 ml tester bottle of Pure Accord for less than the cost of the scent with the full presentation. So this one, as of right now, gonna run you about $45 for a 100 ml full presentation, which I feel like the pricing has actually crept up on a lot of the things that we're gonna talk about here today. So that's not great. Because with some of these fragrances here today, I was like in my mind thinking, okay, that one, yeah, I think that one's what, 35? Then I would look it up and it'd be 45 or 50. And I'd just be like, oh, great. Everything's, yay, reduced purchasing power. So Hugo Boss The Scent, the original, this is the cheapest one that you can purchase as of right now, 100 ml full pres. And it's really well known for its use of Maninka fruit, which became basically the basis of the Scent line that was incorporated in pretty much all the fragrances that came after it. There's also ginger, leather, and lavender in this fragrance as well. Pretty simple, no breakdown overall. And it's kind of funny, going back and smelling it right now, I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty nice. But I remember when this came out, a lot of people were not that psyched on the release. Now, obviously, as time has gone on, there have been new flankers that have come out, and some of those have been heralded and, really appreciated, stuff like the Scent Private Accord, or more recently, the Scent Magnetic or Elixir. But this original one is the one that set everything off. It has that somewhat exotic, fruity smell from the Maninka, a nice amount of sweetness, a touch dusty as well. And it's actually decently bright as well, a little bit more so than I remember. It's something that nowadays not too many people are gonna be wearing, so it kind of flies under the radar a little bit. Still smells really nice though, and it could set you apart against, most of the other fragrances on the market today that aren't in the Scent line. So the cheapest The Scent is the Scent. Next up, we're talking Versace Eros, one of the biggest fragrance lines in the world for men. And I swear, not all the fragrances that I talk to you about are gonna be like this, but the cheapest Versace Eros, about $54 for a 100 ml size bottle, again, full presentation, is the original Eros Eau de Toilette. Now, going back to what I said about testers, if you don't care about the full presentation, Versace Eros testers, same size, 100 ml, are about the exact same price as the Eau de Toilette is, except for Eros Energy, the newest one. That one's a little bit more expensive, but as time goes, obviously that will get cheaper. But if you want Eros Flame, Eros Eau de Parfum, even Eros Parfum if you get a tester, it's gonna be right in that same $54 range. Maybe a couple bucks more, but still right about there. Now in terms of notes, this one has apple, there's also mint, lemon, tonka, ambroxan, and vanilla. It's a very sweet fragrance, but also nicely balanced with some freshness. It is a little bit bubblegummy, maybe leans slightly youthful, but it has way more versatility than some people will give it credit for. As I've said in the past, I used Eros Eau de Toilette for quite a while as an office fragrance myself, and it did really well. If you go extremely heavy, it's pretty strong, so I mean, it wouldn't work great in an office situation if you do that, but as long as you don't go crazy, it's fine. Big compliment puller, super popular, and really, with the Eros line, it comes down to, do you want the presentation or not, as far as what the cheapest one really is. Because you know, if you can get Eros Flame for 54, 55 bucks, a 100 mil, but it's a tester, technically the cost is the same, you just don't get your box. Up next is the Coach for Men line, but before we talk about that, here are some ways you can save even more money from discounters. Actually, this is just one way, it's codes, it's coupon codes, yeah. The JOMASHOP codes only work within the app, so do be aware of that. If you're shopping on JOMASHOP's website, you can just download the app. It looks the exact same as the website. Add whatever you want, use the code checkout, save a little money. And then all the other codes that you see there, you can use through their websites. So now the Coach for Men line, this one, $44 for a 100 ml size bottle. And this is a line that in my head is a $30 to $35 line. But the prices when I looked across all the websites were up from that price. So yeah, hopefully they creep back down, and some of them were sold out, to be fair. But anyway, cheapest one is Coach for Men Blue. But listen to how close this was. It was $1 cheaper than Coach Green and also Coach Platinum. So if you like Platinum more or you like Green more, they are a whole whopping $1 more expensive. So in terms of notes, this one has lime, also absinthe, interestingly enough, ozonic notes, amber, cedar, and pepper. And I would probably go for Green or Platinum myself if I were gonna pick just one from those three. But Coach Blue is extremely safe, very, very easy to wear. You know, it's one of those grab and go type of scents. Extremely clean, fresh, zingy, bright, and also not overly sweet. So that gives it a little more versatility. And it is a potential compliment puller as well. I mean, it's just that type of fragrance, that easygoing, everyday sort of fragrance, right? It maybe won't blow you away if you're really into fragrances and you have a huge collection, but for a cheap scent, it's not too bad. It's kind of like playing in that same ballpark as something like Mont Blanc Explorer Ultra Blue or something like that. Or Wanted Tonic from Mazzaro. You know, kind of in that wheelhouse and that style. I should also say for the Coach fragrances, if you don't want a 100 ml, you want a 60 milliliter size bottle, you can get those in the 20s. So like 26, 27, something like that. But I'm trying to keep everything 100 ml size prices in today's video. Next up, Yves Saint Laurent's L'Homme line, which has a lot of flankers to choose from. And interestingly, the one that was the cheapest is one that I almost forgot even existed. And the price, at least as of this video, is really affordable for what all the other L'Homme fragrances are going for. $59 for a 100 ml size bottle. And it is this one, Cologne Blue. So in terms of notes, this fragrance has pepper, citrus, cardamom, lavender, apple, sandalwood, and cedar, which as far as the note breakdown goes, sounds pretty good. Absolutely, positively, a summertime fragrance, and that's it. It's for summer, daytime, summer. Now it is really fresh, nice little bit of sweetness to it as well, without coming across syrupy or anything like that. So it's got a nice balance there when you first spray it on. Really appealing, light, airy, and pretty weak. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the big drawbacks with this one. It ain't strong. So if you're looking for something like Mr. Eros over here, that's gonna be really strong, last a long time, project like an unchained monster, keep looking, because this is pretty friggin' weak. Yeah, I was gonna say some bad words, you know, say it's weak as shit, Say it's just an absolute piss poor performer. Say, you know, the fragrance is named Cologne Blue. Maybe it needs to take some blue pills because its performance just ain't up to snuff. But you know, I didn't say any of those things. So yeah, Cologne Blue suffers from performance anxiety. But if you want something that smells nice quality, fruity, sweet, very fresh, airy, with just the right touch of sweetness to it, you can check this out for just under 60 bucks. Let's go to something with a little bit more push, a little more power to it for all you steroid lovers out there. This one is from Viktor and Rolf. And I was thinking Viktor and Rolf, probably gonna be Night Vision Eau de Toilette. And when I saw the price, I was like, yeah, that's probably gonna be the cheapest one. Kept looking around, and no, the cheapest Spicebomb that you can get right now is just regular old Spicebomb. 56 bucks for 90 mils, which actually sounds pretty good, all things considered. Because Viktor and Rolf, for a long time, their fragrances didn't really get discounted that much. So when I saw 56, I was like, that's cheaper than I thought. Spices. I like gold. So in terms of the spices in this bomb of spice, there is cinnamon, a good amount of cinnamon, along with saffron and pink pepper. There's also citrus, tobacco, and leather in here. Real strong, real punchy off the top, kind of an aggressive, spicy mix when you first spray it on. But during fall and winter, it smells absolutely amazing. A great holiday fragrance. You know, it's a little bit similar to Bulgari's Man in Black, which is also really well done. So if you've smelled that one for some reason, but not this one, it's a little reminiscent to that. And really good performance. Stuff lasts, it projects, it is strong, and sometimes gets forgotten nowadays. You know, all the other Spicebomb fragrances that came after this one stole a lot of the thunder from the OG. Valentino Uomo Born in Roma is the next line that we're taking a look at. And with this one, my expectation was kind of like these over here, that the original Born in Roma would be the cheapest. And yet, it is not. No, actually, I thought it would be, and yet it ain't. It's a really popular fragrance, and I say that to say, you know, there's a lot of product moving through all those fragrance stores out there, which is to say, there's a pretty good supply of Born in Roma. And with it being the original one, still being pretty popular, a lot of it out there, like I said, like 15 times now, I figured because of the supply, it would be the cheapest. And yet the cheapest is this one, Coral Fantasy. Now I say cheapest, it's not really cheap. It's $83 for a 100 ml size bottle, but still that was less than Born in Roma or Yellow Dream, both of which I thought would be cheaper than this one. Because when it comes to my own taste, Coral Fantasy is right up there toward the top as far as the Born in Roma line. I think this is one of the best ones that you can get. Smells fantastic just about all year round. It's got great versatility. You can use it year round, nice performance, big compliment puller, pretty much everything you'd look for in a fragrance. In terms of notes, there's a red apple note in here that smells great. Also have cardamom, lavender, geranium, patchouli, and even a little bit of tobacco as well. Let's hit it. Yep, still smells good. Just had to make sure. So this is another one that has a nice balance of sweetness along with a touch of aromatics as well. And that nice little pop of warm spice also. Like I said, you can use this pretty much any time. And that one was a complete surprise to me. Let's go with another Hugo Boss. This time, Boss Bottled. And Boss Bottled is one of those weird fragrance lines where you have some releases that are pretty cheap at discounters. Don't cost that much at all. Then you have other releases that are on the other end of the spectrum and are typically priced closer to what they go for at retail. You know, something like Boss Bottled Elixir or Triumph Elixir. This one was right at about $45 for a 100 ml size bottle, and it's Boss Bottled Unlimited. Obviously mine is larger. It's a 200 ml size bottle, no cap, in case you missed that for some reason. I don't know why I felt like I needed to tell you it had no cap. Now, in terms of notes, this one is fruit forward. There's pineapple in here, along with grapefruit, mint, violet, cinnamon, sandalwood, and labdanum. And it is really fresh, very fruity, and sweet when you spray it on. More of a spring, summer, daytime fragrance, and frankly, for 45 bucks, it smells really good. So there's so much to love here. Inexpensive, fresh, fruity, a little bit green, sweet, attention-grabbing. The quality is actually shockingly good for how cheap it is. All of this sounds fantastic. What's the drawback? Oh, yeah, the performance again. It's not that strong. Yeah, it's a little bit better than the YSL over here, but it is still not a beastly fragrance. So if you're somebody looking for something that's gonna project for 6, 7, 8, 25, 32,000 hours, that's not this. But if you do want something that's extremely appealing, like I said, fresh, fruity, a little green, sweet, airy, lively, with good quality for spring and summer, and you don't mind too much if the performance is then Bottled Unlimited, actually really good. Let's talk Luna Rossa next, Prada Luna Rossa. And I would think the expectation for most people would be that the cheapest Luna Rossa is the original Luna Rossa, which would make sense. But Prada did just do their like re-release, repackaging, restyling, whatever, retooling of Luna Rossa Eau de Toilette. And I don't know if that caused the pricing to jump around a little bit or whatever, but as of right now, when I looked through everything, the cheapest was actually Luna Rossa Carbon. For a 100 ml, about 73 bucks. For comparison, normal, plain old original Luna Rossa Eau de Toilette on JOMASHOP right now, 85 bucks. So $12 more than Carbon. Go figure. In terms of your note breakdown, with Luna Rossa Carbon, you're looking at ambroxan, lavender, bergamot, pepper, and patchouli. Of course, it does get compared to Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette, and it is in that style. It's not quite as metallic as Dior Sauvage. It's a little bit smoother than Dior Sauvage. Some people prefer this one to Sauvage. People who want something that's a little bit louder, maybe gets you noticed a little bit more, are gonna, gravitate more toward the Dior. But both are really good as far as just versatile, all season, day or nighttime fragrances. Luna Rossa Carbon is a longtime favorite of people in the fragrance community. And with it being right now the cheapest Luna Rossa, I'd say that gives it another little W. Jean Paul Gaultier's L'Homme up next. And this is another one where my expectation was probably just the original L'Homme. But that fragrance has seen a little bit of a resurgence, and the price has crept up. So for example, on JOMASHOP, as of this video, a 4.2 ounce size bottle is gonna run you about $90. Technically, I think $89.99, but 90 bucks, right? And yet there's one L'Homme fragrance going for $65 for that same size bottle. And it's this one, L'Homme Pride 2022. In terms of notes, this one has blood orange, yuzu, orange blossom, neroli, musk, and blonde woods. And in terms of scent profile, it's actually not super far removed from what something like Myself does. YSL Myself. It's maybe zingier than Myself off the top, with this one having yuzu and blood orange, but it's very white floral forward. That orange blossom, especially, along with neroli underneath, that's one of the main facets of the fragrance. It also has a very fuzzy, almost staticky musk and blonde woods combo in the dry down, which you can pick up pretty early on. So it's like staticky, fresh, clean clothing to an extent with a little bit of sweetness in there from the citrus. Like I said, very zingy, very lively. And if we're talking just the scent itself, extremely versatile, really easy to wear. Another one that's gonna be more like spring, summer, daytime. And it doesn't smell the same as Myself. I'm not saying that this is a replacement for Myself, but I would say if you like fragrances like that one, or Gucci Guilty Love Edition, stuff like that, then you'll probably enjoy this one also. And it's the cheapest one. And we're gonna finish with the cheapest Dior Homme, which actually a lot of the Dior Homme fragrances are priced pretty similarly. So these prices I'm gonna give you right now are from JOMASHOP, and they're just as an illustration. They have Dior Homme Intense 100 ml size bottle for $119. And then they have Dior Homme Original 100 ml size for $115. Now that's Dior Homme Original. So if you've been looking for that one and it's still available, you may wanna scoop up a bottle. Dior Homme 2020 is $105 for a 100 ml. And it looked like that was gonna be the cheapest one until I found Dior Homme Sport in a 4.2 ounce size bottle, of course, for $95. So 25 more milliliters in this bottle versus the other 100 ml sizes, and a little bit cheaper. And to me, that's actually a really solid deal. I love Dior Homme Sport. I think this stuff smells fantastic. Similar to Dior Homme 2020 in a lot of ways, but a little bit easier to wear, a little bit fresher. Absolutely 100% positively not just a sport fragrance. A lot of times, you know, crackheads out there will say, oh, sport fragrance, that means you can only use this to the gym or after a shower or whatever. Slanderous. Dior Homme Sport, wear that anywhere. You can wear that formally, wear that to the office, wear that casually, wear that on a date, wear that wherever you want, man. It don't matter. In terms of notes, lemon, bergamot, LME, pink pepper, woods, and amber. Like I said, dumb it down. Basically just a fresher, cleaner, more stripped down, less wood spicy intensive Dior Homme 2020 that actually more people probably would find appealing. And it's the cheapest one. That's just cheating. So there we go, guys. There are 10 different lines. And right now, this moment in time, those are the cheapest ones that you can find for each one of these lines at those discounters. Now, of course, cheaper does not always mean better. And with some of these lines, there might be a fragrance that is superior for $1 more, $5 more, $10 more. And ultimately, it's gonna be up to you to determine which fragrance from each line you feel like personally is the best buy, the best bang for your buck. But if we're talking just cheapest, here they are. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.